another Q&A Monday. So it's another Monday, and it's again a very, very busy and manic Monday. I had a really tough day today. But here again, I think it's still every Monday I just try my best to add some value for you. And currently I do have some clients do ask questions, this particular question about automatic enrollment. Some of you might wondering what does that mean. Basically, if you are running a payroll and you know you have this kind of duty, or if you are not sure, basically that's something you, if you have employees on your books, then you will have to take care of their pension contribution as well, because lots of people at the moment, it just the government just think people are not contributing enough to their pension pot. Actually, it's very true. Most of the people at the moment are living paycheck by paycheck. I can completely understand, especially if you are living in London, the life is tough. But then that's just enable you to be dedicated, and whatever you earn, just put aside a small amount, even just 1%. Okay, so again today I just talk about automatic enrollment that's related to a workplace pension. I think for most of the bigger companies, they already doing it probably years ago. Some of you might be working in a corporate job and you are already aware that they are, like, your employees taking care of this part. In some countries like Australia, this sort of similar to auto enrollment scheme that's already been running for many years. So I think it's just to encourage employers to take care of your employee, and also for people to really put some money aside for their retirement. Okay, so today it's not a Facebook Live about the pension retirement planning. If you are wondering, have questions on that, one is be free to refer to one of our previous episodes about retirement planning. And the other one, if you can get in touch with me specifically, just write specifically you want to talk about that, then I will refer you to the financial advisor I know, and he will be the person to talk to when it comes to retirement planning. Okay, so today is because auto enrollment is actually related to your payroll cost. So in particular, if you're running the payroll at the moment, you are aware what are the deductions, like you're paying tax, PAYE, or national insurance. So actually income tax is actually PAYE. It's not the two separate things. Okay, so there are two kinds of deductions. But what if you have the pension contribution as well? That's again another deduction. Again, some people are wondering why my paycheck is like you deducting more on my paycheck. Actually, that pension deduction, the money paid into your pension scheme is still yours. Okay, so it's still benefiting you. Okay, so basically, it's just a system government wants to introduce, and it will be applicable for all the businesses, even the small businesses, as long as you have employees on your books, then you will have to take care of the pension contribution. So that's what auto enrollment is about, and it's done automatically. So when your company is, if you are already on PAYE scheme, which is on HMRC's database, then the pension regulator will pick up that information and send you the letters confirm your staging date. That means the duty start date. Then from that date, you will have to automatically enroll the eligible workers to the pension scheme and start take care of the pension contribution. Or if you are a newborn employer, I think that's from 1st of October 2017, then yeah, you have no choice. You will have to do that. Okay, so as we know, most of the bigger companies, they've already been doing that. At the moment, it's more for the smaller businesses. Of course, small businesses, they want to look out for their costs. And also who needs to enroll if you are if you are a one-man band company and if you are only the director. The good news is if that's you, then that duty doesn't apply to you. Of course, you can do voluntarily, like do your company pension, or you can contribute voluntarily to your personal pension. That's up to you. But that duty doesn't apply to you. Or if you are the company director and you have employees, so you can put yourself into the pension scheme if you want, but if you don't want to, then you don't have to. So that's a special for directors. Okay, but if you are the normal employee, at the moment, the age, first of all, there are two things you need to consider. Of course, they have to be working in the UK. Doesn't matter if they are part-time or full-time, but there are two triggers. One is earning trigger. The other one is age. So from the age 16, then they have the right to enroll the pension scheme up until they're the age of 74. But in between, so if that person is between 22 up to state pension age, then that's very likely that that person has to be enrolled into the pensions. It's automatically being enrolled. So what happened with the people who are 16 to 22? So they have the right to enroll, but they don't have to. So when you communicate with them, you just say you have the right to enroll into the pension scheme, but you don't have to. But then, first of all, age trigger, 22 to state pension age. And the second trigger is an earning trigger. That is per month. That is 833 per month. So if someone is earning, say, £900 a month, and that person is 23, then at your staging date, that person will be automatically put into the pension scheme with no question. Okay, so that's a rule. Okay, so that watch out these two triggers. And of course, if you already know your staging date and it's still not coming yet, it's a good idea to look at your employees and see who are the person you have to put them into the pension scheme, or who are the workers they have the right to enroll but they don't have to. So really assess your workplace. And of course, work out your payroll costs as well. At the moment, up until April next year, then all you have to do is employee, they contribute 1% of their paycheck, but employer, you match 1%. So overall is 2%. But the year after and after, then it will increase. So I do have a copy of the full chart, like including the earning trigger, like who needs to enroll, who has the right to enroll, as well as the contribution level. Then I do have the charts. Here it's I know in the Facebook Live it's hard to show you, and Auto Enrolment it does have very a lot of details. But the chart I will put in our private Facebook group. That's Tax Deductible Lifestyle Tribe. So if you are the member in the tribe, then you can download. Or if you're not, you can request to join and you can get access to the information. But if you do have any questions in the meantime, please be free to comment. And I will try my best to answer here, but even if not, we can always have a conversation separately and I can show you the graphs and the numbers separately. Okay, so here we get back to some general information. So we mentioned about what is auto enrollment, who has to enroll, who has the right to enroll, and how much you have to contribute. So that will give you the rough idea about like the payroll cost, how much it does actually cost you. So there are some clients actually ask some questions. Say, for instance, their staging date is 1st of August. Is that when they have to, when this become applicable, or what's the first pay slip that they have to show the deduction, the pension deduction? So if they are running the payroll monthly, and I presume after 1st of August, then the first pay day after that was 31st of August, or the last working day of August. So that was a point, that was a pay day, that was a point that you have to show the deduction. Mostly all these deductions, if you are working with accountant or a bookkeeper, they're taking care of payroll, then these are automatically being taken care of. But that doesn't mean you don't have to do anything. You need to be aware what's being deducted, and it's also good for employees to understand what does that mean and what does that mean to them. Okay, and the other question is, I think lots of the people, like especially now the businesses who are staging, they are become smaller and smaller, and I think the sort of education, it's not at the moment, although there are lots of information like on the pension regulator or the nest pension. But most of small businesses, I understand we're all very busy running a business. We probably don't bother looking at this information. So they probably don't have as much knowledge around what's the benefit of contributing to a pension or how these things works. So one thing I would advise, first of all, we do have episodes like the retirement planning episode, where we talk about the benefit of contributing to pension, as well as a lot of people asking what's the point of paying into pension. Do I just have an investment property to fund my retirement? So we had that answer in one of our previous episodes about retirement planning. So please be free to look into that. Yeah, but of course, there's another option where you can find the guidance is Nest Pension. They have a very detailed guidance, and I think these are very easy to understand. So Nest Pension is actually one of the pension schemes you can choose from. And in fact, for most of the smaller businesses, I think for the bigger businesses, they might go for some other pension providers than to set up this workplace pension for them. But then for most of small businesses, like Nest Pension will probably be the only option. So Nest actually is good enough for the small businesses. Like currently, there are only 2 people in the business, like only 2 employees. So that's actually good enough. Okay, and it's free to set up. And also, the other thing people was asking, there are some businesses, like family businesses, like say one of them is a director of a company, but they have the spouse working as a secretary or as an employee, or even their son, other family members as employee. So how does that work? Again, you are the company director, so this duty, you can enroll yourself then if you want to, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. But if your spouse or any of your family members, they are not in like an office position like directors, if they are not directors, then yes, this will be applicable for them. So if you are in that sort of situation, you do need to check your staging date, especially if you're not aware of yet, and do check what you need to do next to make sure everything is compliant. Okay. And the other thing, what if there's some people, like if some people say that person is like it's automatically being enrolled, but that person doesn't want to be enrolled for some reason. So here, one of the most important thing is, as employer, you cannot force your workers to get out of the pension scheme. So you cannot do that. So it's really the worker themselves. It's up to them to decide if they want to opt out or not. So if these things happen, so if someone who has been put into the pension scheme but want to opt out, so that person has 1 month time. Okay, there's an opt-out period. 1 month time to decide, to tell the employer then they want to opt out. And of course, if the worker, like previously, their pay has been deducted by the pension contribution, then they will get a refund once that opt-out is valid. But then again, you as employer, you cannot force your workers to opt out the pension scheme, and they have to give you notice. And they even have to request from the pension provider about like a notice form. You cannot give it to them, because if you give it to them, it is like you are forcing them to opt out. So that's actually something you need to be aware of. So yeah, they can do that. And the other thing you need to be aware is we have to run the same sort of re-enrollment every 3 years. So if that worker has been opted out and that person is still working for you after 3 years at the re-enrollment date, that's your anniversary, so after 3 years after your staging date, then that person will again be put back to the pension scheme. So you have to again do the same exercise if that person still doesn't want to be in the scheme. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, and finally, there are people asking about when need to do what. I think these things can be quite overwhelming. I know it's a lot to take care of, when we have to set up the pension scheme, when we have to assess our workers, or when we have to enroll them. So in general, things you need to do prior to your staging date, of course, work out your payroll cost. Look at your workers, and yeah, it's good to be prepared for budget wise, because effectively you are contributing like 1%, or you can contribute more if you want. So just decide how much you want to do, and if you are working out like doing 1% as an employer contribution, you are paying on top of the payroll cost as well. And of course, assess your workers, and one thing again, need to tell your workers what's happening, what's going on, what's changing. So really need to communicate with them. I think some of you already using the video, like the retirement planning video, to communicate with them, and there are some also letter templates I've been sent out to my clients, so they can just tell their employees what's going on, what's going to happen, and when these things going to happen. So communication need to be done. And at the staging date, of course, I think shortly before the staging date, you do need to decide which pension scheme to go for and have it registered. And at the staging date, you need to enroll your workers, and you need to be aware of your ongoing duties, or in from the month on or after staging date, you need to, every month you need to take care of their pension contribution, know how much being deducted, and if there's a new joiner or some people become not eligible, then you need to know as well. So ongoing duty, there are still a lot need to be done. Yeah, we also have a sort of action plan ourselves, which we give it out to client. But if you do need one, I can send one to you as well. But of course, if you really want to discuss some specific, these auto enrollment, how specifically it can be done for you, or what you need to do for your small business to be compliant, then be free to have a chat. So be free to personal message me afterwards. Okay, so I know it's a lot of details. As mentioned, I will share the graphs, our charts, into our private Facebook group. It's called Tax Deductible Lifestyle Tribe, and also because it's tied into pension, it's also part of a retirement. So if you do need some retirement planning or want to know more about the benefit of pension, our financial advisor is also in the group. So be free to connect with him as well. And that group is called Tax Deductible Lifestyle Tribe. So it's a private for members. Anything happen in the group will stay in the group. Okay. So I hope this gives you some overview guidance about auto enrollments. There are still a lot a lot of details about that. I think I've tried my best to explain in the short period of time in the Facebook Live. But if you do have more questions, be free to let me know, and we can talk further. Okay, so I hope you find this one useful, and as always, be free to let me know what sort of specific questions about tax you want me to cover in my future episodes, and I shall see you very, very soon. Have a wonderful evening, and bye now.